First contact gone wrong. The command deck of the UES Dauntless hummed with nervous energy as Captain Alina Reyes stood before the main viewport, her eyes fixed on the approaching alien vessel. The massive Krell warship, with its distinctive spiked hull design, dwarfed her ship by at least 3 times. Yet the Dauntless was humanity's pride. The fastest, most advanced diplomatic vessel in the United Earth Fleet, specially chosen for this historic first official contact with the Krell Dominion. Status report. Reyes commanded, her voice steady despite the tension that had settled in her shoulders. Commander Jackson Vega, her XO, responded immediately. All systems nominal, Captain. Weapons remain cold as per diplomatic protocols. Translation matrices are active and synchronized. Communications, Reyes asked, turning to Lieutenant Amara Okafor. Channel open and ready, Captain. We're broadcasting the agreed-upon greeting sequence on all frequencies. Reyes nodded, straightening her midnight blue uniform. At 38, she had spent most of her career preparing for moments like this. Humanity had only recently emerged onto the galactic stage, and the Krell, an ancient spacefaring civilization, had initially responded to Earth's probes with cautious interest. 6 months of careful message exchanges had led to this moment, the first face-to-face meeting. The Krell vessel is hailing us, Okafor announced, her fingers dancing across her console. Putting it on screen. The viewport shifted, displaying a tall reptilian figure with iridescent scales and 4 piercing yellow eyes. High Admiral Zex Kaltar, according to their briefings, the Krell's diplomatic representative. Greetings, High Admiral, Reyes said formally. On behalf of United Earth, we come in peace and friendship. The alien's eyes narrowed, and the translation came through their systems with a slight delay. Captain Reyes, your arrival is acknowledged. Prepare your vessel to be scanned as a security measure. Before Reyes could respond, Chief Engineer Maya Chen called out from her station. Captain, they're activating scanning beams, but these aren't standard diplomatic scans. They're probing our defensive systems, weapons capabilities, engine specifications. High Admiral, Reyes addressed the Krell, keeping her voice diplomatic despite her growing concern. These scans exceed the agreed protocols. We request. Silence, the Krell commander interrupted. Your species' advancement has been miscalculated. We require complete assessment. Commander Vega moved closer to Reyes, keeping his voice low. Captain, I don't like this. They're mapping our entire ship. The tactical officer, Lieutenant Wei, suddenly straightened in his chair. Energy spike. They're charging weapons. Shields up. Reyes ordered instantly, abandoning diplomacy. Evasive maneuvers. The Dauntless shuddered as the first Krell energy blast struck before their shields had fully deployed. Alarms blared throughout the ship as crew members were thrown from their stations. Direct hit to our starboard engine, Chen reported, her hands flying over emergency controls. Hull breach on Deck 3, sealing emergency bulkheads. Reyes gripped the command rail as another blast rocked the ship. Return fire, targeting their weapons array only. We need to disable, not destroy. The Dauntless defensive lasers lanced out, striking the Krell vessel with surgical precision. On screen, Admiral Zex Kaltar's expression didn't change. If anything, he seemed pleased. As expected, the Krell said coldly, hostility is your species' true nature. All Krell forces, this is High Admiral Zex Kaltar. The human vessel has attacked without provocation. This confirms our intelligence about this dangerous species. Commence Operation Purge. They're broadcasting that across all frequencies, Okafor exclaimed. They're telling everyone we attacked them. Reyes felt cold fury rise within her. Record everything. We need evidence of what really happened here. Multiple smaller Krell vessels began emerging from behind the larger warship, weapons charged and targeting the Dauntless. We can't win this fight, Vega said grimly. Not against their entire battle group. We're not trying to win, Reyes replied. Chen, Do we still have FTL capability? The primary drive is damaged but functional, Captain. We can make one, maybe 2 jumps before it fails completely. Reyes nodded decisively. Plot a course deeper into Krell territory. Captain, Vega questioned, shock evident in his voice. They'll expect us to run for Earth, Reyes explained. We can't lead them there. And we need time to gather evidence and formulate a plan. They won't expect us to hide in their own backyard. As the Dauntless absorbed another punishing hit, Reyes opened a ship-wide channel. All hands, braced for emergency FTL jump. This isn't the diplomatic mission we planned, but make no mistake, the future of Earth now depends on us surviving to reveal the truth. The stars streaked across the viewport as the damaged ship vanished into FTL, leaving behind a surprised Krell fleet and carrying the last hopes of humanity into the heart of enemy territory. 2 weeks later, the UES Dauntless drifted silently within a dense nebula deep in Krell space. The ship's once gleaming hull was now scorched and patched, running with minimal power to avoid detection. Inside, the crew worked tirelessly to repair critical systems and maintain life support. In the makeshift war room that had once been the diplomatic suite, Captain Reyes studied the star charts with her senior officers. Casualty reports lay stacked beside them. 23 crew members lost in the initial attack and subsequent emergency repairs. The good news, Chen reported, is that we've stabilized the secondary engines and repaired the worst of the hull breaches. The bad news is that the primary FTL drive is beyond repair with our current resources. What about communications? Reyes asked, turning to Okafor. Still risky, Captain. Any transmission powerful enough to reach Earth would be detected by Krell monitoring stations, and what we're seeing on their networks is concerning. Okafor activated a holographic display showing various Krell propaganda broadcasts. Each one depicted the Dauntless firing first, with dramatic recreations of a vicious human ambush against peaceful Krell representatives. They're rewriting history, Vega said bitterly, and spreading it to every corner of known space, added Wei, the tactical officer. According to our intelligence, they've contacted at least 7 other spacefaring species with warnings about human aggression. Reyes absorbed this information silently, her expression revealing nothing of the weight she carried. Finally, she spoke. We need allies. We need evidence. And we need a way to broadcast the truth that can't be silenced or twisted. Captain, Chen said hesitantly, there's something else. We've been detecting strange energy signatures at the edge of our sensor range. Not Krell design. Something different. Before Reyes could respond, the ship's proximity alert sounded. Lieutenant Wei hurried to the tactical station. Unknown vessel approaching, Captain. Small, moving cautiously. Definitely not Krell design. Battle stations, Reyes ordered. But weapons remain cold unless I give the command. This might be our first potential ally, or another enemy. The bridge crew rushed to their positions as the mysterious ship drew closer. On the main screen, they could now see a sleek vessel with bioluminescent patterns pulsing along its hull. They're hailing us, Okafor reported with surprise. Let's hear them, Reyes commanded. A melodic voice filled the bridge, speaking perfect English. Human vessel, we have been observing you. We know the truth of what happened at the diplomatic meeting. We too have suffered Krell deception. If you seek allies against their domination, follow us. But decide quickly. Krell patrols will be passing through this sector soon. Reyes exchanged glances with her officers, weighing their limited options. It could be a trap, Vega cautioned. Or our only chance, Reyes countered. If they wanted to destroy us or turn us in, they could have brought the Krell directly to our location. After a moment's consideration, she addressed the unknown aliens. We accept your offer of assistance. Who are you? We are the Lumina, came the reply. One of many species the Krell have attempted to subjugate through similar tactics. There are others who resist. Together, perhaps we can finally expose the truth. As the Dauntless followed the smaller ship deeper into the nebula, Rice felt the first spark of hope since the attack. They were damaged, outnumbered, and deep in enemy territory. But they were no longer alone. Alliance of the Outcasts. The hidden sanctuary of Nexus Point took Captain Ray's breath away. Carved within a massive asteroid at the convergence of 3 nebulae, the sprawling outpost housed species from across the galaxy, all victims of Krell manipulation and aggression. The Dauntless had been guided into a cavernous docking bay where repair crews immediately began assessing the damage to the human vessel. "We've been building this coalition for decades," explained Ambassador Lyra, the Lumina who had first contacted them. Her semi-translucent skin pulsed with bioluminescent patterns as she led Reyes and her senior officers through the station. "Each species here has a similar story. Peaceful contact attempted, followed by Krell provocation, then galaxy-wide propaganda painting us as the aggressors." "How many species are part of this coalition?" Vega asked, watching as a massive insectoid being coordinated repair efforts alongside Engineer Chen. 17 at present," Lyra replied. "The Valeri you see there were once renowned shipbuilders before the Krell labeled them weapons proliferators. The Urzak," she gestured toward crystalline beings monitoring data streams, "were great archivists until the Krell declared their historical records dangerous misinformation. Ray studied the diverse beings working together, and none of you have been able to clear your names. The Krell control the major communication relays to the Galactic Council," a deep voice responded. A towering being with dense, gravity-defying tendrils approached. "I am Nexer of the Void Walkers. We were interstellar traders until the Krell accused us of smuggling biological weapons. The Council," Lyra continued, "only hears what the Krell allow. Evidence disappears, witnesses vanish, and diplomatic vessels suffer unfortunate accidents before reaching Council space." They entered a command center where representatives from various species gathered around a holographic display of Krell territory. "We've been fighting a shadow war," Nexer explained. "Small victories, minor disruptions, but nothing that changes the balance of power. Until now." "Until us?" Rise asked. "Your situation is unique," Lyra said. "The Krell attacked you openly, believing your ship would be destroyed or would flee back to Earth. They didn't expect you to hide in their territory, and they certainly didn't expect you to record everything." Lieutenant Okafor stepped forward. "We have complete sensor logs, communications records, and visual data of the entire encounter. More importantly," Rise added, "we have a ship the Krell believe is crippled or destroyed. They're not looking for us anymore. They're preparing for a potential conflict with Earth." The gathered aliens exchanged looks of cautious hope. "What are you proposing, Captain?" asked a Valari representative, mandibles clicking with interest. Raids moved to the holographic display. "The Krell control information flow to the Council through their central communications hub here." She pointed to a heavily fortified station near the border of Krell space. "If we could infiltrate it, we could broadcast the truth directly to the Council and every species in range." "Impossible," Nexer rumbled. "The station is too well defended." "For a frontal assault, yes," Rise agreed, "but not for a stealth operation, and definitely not for a ship they believe is destroyed." Over the next 2 weeks, the Coalition transformed the Dauntless. With the combined technological expertise of 17 species, the human vessel was repaired, enhanced, and modified beyond Earth's most advanced specifications. Valeri engineers rebuilt the engines to emit a signature matching Krell auxiliary vessels. Lumina scientists adapted their bioluminescent technology to create adaptive hull camouflage. Urzak crystal arrays boosted sensor capabilities while remaining undetectable to Krell scanning. During this time, Reyes and her crew trained with Coalition fighters, learning their tactics and sharing human combat techniques that the Krell had never encountered. "Humans fight differently," observed Kraz, a Valari weapon specialist, after watching Lieutenant Wei demonstrate Earth martial arts. "You adapt mid-battle, improvise with available resources. The Krell are methodical, predictable. They follow established protocols and expect others to do the same. That's our advantage, Rise responded. They won't expect what we're planning because it doesn't follow their tactical logic. On the eve of the mission, Rise addressed the combined forces in the main hangar. Human crew stood shoulder to shoulder with coalition fighters, united in purpose despite their vastly different biologies. Tomorrow, we strike at the heart of Krell propaganda, Rise declared. Not with overwhelming force, but with truth. Each of your species has suffered under Krell manipulation. Each has been painted as villains in a narrative you never wrote. Tomorrow, we rewrite that story together. The plan was daring in its simplicity. The modified Dauntless, now resembling a Krell supply vessel, would approach the communications hub under the guise of scheduled maintenance. A strike team of humans and coalition specialists would infiltrate the station, secure the broadcast center, and transmit the unaltered records of every Krell first contact betrayal directly to the Galactic Council. As dawn broke across the nebula, the disguised Dauntless departed Nexus Point. On the bridge, Captain Rise felt a strange calm settle over her. They were outnumbered and outgunned, deep in enemy territory, but they carried something the Krell could never understand: the combined determination of species fighting for the truth. Approaching Krell Communication Hub, Commander Vega reported 6 hours later. Defense platforms are active but not targeting us. Our disguise is holding. Transmission from the hub, Okafor announced. They're requesting identification and purpose. Send the security codes provided by Nexer, Rise ordered. Maintain communication protocols exactly as rehearsed. Tense minutes passed as the hub verified their credentials. Finally, clearance came through. Docking permission granted, Okafor confirmed, relief evident in her voice. As the Dauntless eased into a maintenance bay, Rise addressed the infiltration team one last time. Remember, we need 15 minutes to upload the data package and initiate the broadcast. After that, every Krell ship in the sector will be heading our way. Lieutenant Wei, leading the ground team, nodded grimly. We'll get it done, Captain. What followed was 20 of the most intense minutes in human military history. The infiltration team, using coalition technology to mask their life signs, moved through the hub with precision. When confronted by Krell security, they employed unconventional human tactics that confused and overwhelmed the methodical defenders. From the Dauntless, Rise monitored their progress, ready to provide covering fire or emergency extraction. When the team reached the broadcast center, Engineer Chen remotely connected to their systems. Uploading data package now, Chen reported, fingers flying across her console. Krell security protocols are responding, but our Urzak encryption is holding them off. 60 seconds to full transmission. Captain, Vega warned, we've got incoming. 3 Krell patrol ships just dropped out of FTL. They're hailing the station. Maintain disguise, Rise ordered. How much longer, Shen? 30 seconds. 20. 10. Transmission complete. Broadcasting across all Galactic Council frequencies. On screens throughout the hub and across thousands of worlds, the truth began to play. Unaltered footage of the Krell attack on the Dauntless, followed by similar recordings from each coalition species, decades of deception exposed in minutes. Ground team is returning. Wei reported over comms. Heavy resistance. Request covering fire. Bring our weapons online, Rise commanded. Target Krell defense platforms only. We need to give our people time to get back aboard. The Dauntless's enhanced weapons systems, augmented with coalition technology, fired with devastating precision. Krell security forces, caught off guard by the sudden transformation of what they believed was one of their supply ships, responded in disarray. All team members aboard, Vega confirmed as the airlock sealed. But we've got the entire Krell fleet converging on our position. Ray smiled, a predator's smile that would have unnerved even the most hardened Krell commander. Exactly as planned. Chen, initiate Phase 2. Throughout the hub, hidden devices planted by the infiltration team activated simultaneously, disrupting power systems and creating cascade failures across the station's defensive grid. As the Dauntless broke away from the docking bay, the hub's weapons remained offline. Incoming transmission, Okafor announced with surprise. From the Galactic Council. The main screen displayed a solemn tribunal of diverse alien species. Human vessel, this is High Counselor Therix. We have received your transmission and are reviewing the evidence. Stand by for. The message cut off as a massive Krell warship dropped out of FTL directly in their path. Evasive maneuvers. Rise ordered. Prepare for emergency jump. The Dauntless rolled and dove, evading the initial barrage from the Krell flagship. But they were surrounded, escape routes blocked by incoming enemy vessels. We need another option, Vega said urgently. Before Reyes could respond, space itself seemed to tear open around them. A dozen ships of various designs dropped out of FTL. Coalition vessels led by Nexer's flagship, Captain Reyes. Nexer's voice boomed through their comms. The broadcast reached Nexus Point. The entire coalition is mobilizing. Hold position. Reinforcements are arriving. More ships appeared, vessels of species the Dauntless crew had never seen before, all responding to the call for justice. The Krell, facing unexpected resistance from multiple directions, faltered in their attack. New transmission, Okafor reported excitedly. Galactic Council frequencies, maximum priority. High Counselor Therix appeared again, expression stern. All vessels, cease hostilities immediately. By emergency decree, the Council has dispatched peacekeeping forces to this sector. The Krell Dominion is hereby placed under investigation for violations of Galactic Charter provisions on interspecies relations and warfare. As Council peacekeeping vessels began appearing at the edges of the battle, the Krell ships slowly powered down their weapons. The tide had turned. 3 months later, Captain Reyes stood in the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council, the surviving crew of the Dauntless beside her. Representatives from Earth had joined them, along with delegates from every coalition species. Today marks a new chapter in galactic history, announced High Counselor Therix. The evidence provided by the United Earth ship Dauntless, corroborated by 17 other species, has exposed centuries of Krell manipulation. Reparations will be made, territories restored, and historical records corrected. The counselor turned directly to Reyes. Captain, your actions in enemy territory, your courage in the face of overwhelming odds, and your determination to reveal the truth rather than seek revenge, have demonstrated that humanity deserves a place among the stars. The Council formally extends an invitation for Earth to join the Galactic Alliance as a full member. As applause filled the chamber, Reyes exchanged glances with her crew. They had entered enemy territory as desperate survivors. They emerged as heroes, not just for Earth, but for countless species across the galaxy. What happens now, Captain? Vega asked quietly as the ceremony continued around them. Reyes watched as human diplomats mingled with beings from across the galaxy, already forming connections and building relationships that would shape the future. Now, she replied with a smile, the real first contact begins.